exciting and new podcast. I'm Jason.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Ryan.
Special guest.
I'm Brady.
There you go.
Ryan's son, Brady. Last time we talked to you, you were broken. Well, actually, we didn't talk to you.
Last time we were talking to you, he was talking about
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan
yeah,
Kenobi.
You're right. This will come out long after we talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're right.
Yeah, but you did make part of, I don't know what
Podcast
episode
history.
that was, but one of our first 10 episodes, I think.
With the
Love Boat when you came, when you had your accident. Yeah.
Oh, you guys were recording that night?
Yeah,
and we had to continue on after your father left.
He left, and then it was up to Andy to press a button, and Andy pressed the right
Apparently
button.
I did.
So
now I'm looking at that thing right now. I'd never be able to press the right button on that thing.
Well, I remember you coming outside, so I guess you had to come back in. And
yeah, I wanted to see if you were alive. It sounded critical. How's your elbow?
It's all right now. I can straighten it pretty much. Yeah.
Back to
It'll never straighten up full again. 180, but
you'll never be asked to straighten it that.
Yeah, I don't need to.
So what are you doing tonight, Jason?
Tonight we're going to do the classic. It came out in theaters on June 25th, 1982. Blade Runner is the name of the movie we're doing today. Rated R, an hour and 57 minutes, directed by Sir Ridley Scott. I just said that because everything I was reading about it was like Sir Ridley Scott, and even if they said his name like 4 times in a paragraph, they kept putting the Sir in front of it. It was like, isn't it just once in the beginning and it just goes Scott?
What war did he fight in? I mean, is it honorary knighthood? It's like when
another
Cosby's
guy,
doctor.
but he's another one of those guys. He's in his mid 80s and he's like still like doing 2-3 movies a year. It's just man.
What's Blade Runner about?
Blade Runner is based on a book by Philip K. Dick. The name of that book is Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? And if you'll notice in the movie, androids aren't the term they use. It's because they felt people wouldn't really understand what droids and all that crap.
I was going to say because
robots. Star
Wars had taken over the term droid, I guess, by that point.
Yeah. The description I have here, excuse me, I didn't take the IMDb description because it was just like, hey, replicant, and they're out there getting people. It didn't really give us anything. So this one's a little more. Deckard, played by Harrison Ford, is forced by the police boss, played by M. Emmett Walsh, to continue his old job as replicant hunter. His assignment: eliminate 4 escaped replicants from the colonies who have returned to Earth. Before starting the job, Deckard goes to the Tyrell Corporation and he meets Rachel, played by Sean Young, a replicant girl he falls in love with.
That's the movie right there.
And you can catch us at the exciting... Oh, wait. So there's our description. Do you want to say anything before I dive into the cast? Any opening statements on Brian? I know you said you have some notes this week. If you want to give us a little something.
I think the thing I want to talk about, the thing that's most pressing on my mind is I watched this on HBO Max, and I have the Blu-ray as well. The Blu-ray that I have is the same version that's HBO Max, and this is the final cut.
I want to say there's 4 different cuts of this movie, I think.
And I've seen the original, the theatrical. I mean, I didn't see it in the theaters in 1982, but I probably saw it in like 1985 on video cassette or something like that. And I saw the director's cut, and I saw the final cut. And I did not like the final cut. My review of this movie at the end will be based on
by Sir Ridley Scott.
It was. My review will be based on Blade Runner in general, not on
and one of the main
this.
things missing is the
narration. I think that is one of the better parts of the original cut.
The narration is one of the things we all loved in Conan the Barbarian.
Brady, tell me your experience with Blade Runner. Is this the only version you've seen? I've
only seen the full. In terms of seeing the full movie, I've only seen the final cut, but I've listened to some of the narration from Harrison Ford because I know it's very divisive on the internet.
It's very divisive, yeah.
Some people hate it and some people love it. I guess people don't like it because they think he wasn't like very enthusiastic to do
I think
narration.
He has the right voice for it.
They point out that Harrison Ford was he didn't want to do it, so he didn't put energy into it, but the character that he plays in this, it sounds like he
didn't want to do that.
Yeah,
he didn't want to.
This was the most Harrison Ford of any movie I've ever seen Harrison Ford in because he was just kind of doing this the whole time.
Here's a quick.
That is Harrison Ford.
Here's a little Harrison Ford thing I saw. He didn't want to wear a hat in this movie because he was coming off of Indiana Jones, and he didn't want to wear a hat, so he went out and got the most respectable haircut he thought he could possibly get.
I've never heard that before. I like that. I know that
and
now.
When Sir Ridley Scott saw it, he thought, okay.
I'm not British. I'm not calling him Sir Ridley Scott.
I'm going to try and do it. I'm going to try and do it every time I say his name, but I'll probably forget.
Me into the one of my notes is like the cops are dressed like pimps. They don't speak
Edward James
English.
Olmos is, what's his
Edward
outfit
James
all about?
Olmos
With
is
the
like,
cane and
he's
everything.
built fourth in this movie, and he has less than 10 minutes screen time. He's hardly on there.
Another one of my notes was that fashion was so outrageous in the 80s. So I can understand would they put this 37 years in the future.
Right. This
that
is
they
the
would
future
think
in
it would be that
2019.
crazy.
I liked Rachel's hair. Like, it was like that weird, like, two pieces, like, it almost looked like a curtain, in the front of her head.
I thought one of the best parts about this movie was was this L.A. or San Fran?
L.A.
Did they actually say it was L.A.? Okay.
Yeah.
Like the Asian-y kind of underbelly that the whole thing was filmed in. It was raining the whole time. Like how gross it
had a
just
very
seemed.
Obi-Wan Kenobi feel on Planet. Oh, wait.
There's been a lot of movies that have tried to replicant this movie.
Oh,
and
nice. I like what you did there.
no one's ever done what Blade Runner's done. This movie looks authentic. This looks like a place you could go.
When you want a dystopian society, and I don't think there was any daytime in this movie, right? It was all,
there was never a
was,
sun. The sun never came up.
That's
Although
one of my notes too is the detail in every scene is insane in this movie.
There's a scene where he's walking down the street and he has to avoid two ostriches. There's ostriches walking down the street. And he has to get out of the way of them.
But also, aren't animals are?
They're all replicants, I guess, because in the book, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? There are no animals. Your status symbol is you have
animals are.
They're just gone.
Have they been eradicated?
Yeah, I mean, they're all just dead. So
evacuated.
Having one is a status symbol, so that's why they're all fake. Like the snake,
because
like
the girl,
owl.
because she said that when he said, "Is that a real snake?" and she's like, "I can't afford one because obviously it's expensive to have."
Yeah, they're probably very rare.
The replicant didn't know what a turtle was or a tortoise.
Oh yeah,
right. Yes,
that was just like another thing. Like animals are just not around anymore, I guess,
except ostriches.
This has been a movie trope or a sci-fi trope. Probably this started it, but I'm getting a little tired of it, and I will not blame Blade Runner for this, but every movie that's come after Blade Runner, how do they make these robots so like humans that you just can't cut a finger off and be like, okay, that's not blood?
Well, that's the whole thing. Is why couldn't they do a blood test? Why do they have to do 100 personality?
Questions are
and all the replicants' eyes had that like really weird glow
the red
to it.
To them,
they had a glow.
like,
even the owl did. Yeah. Can you turn your head just 45 degrees? Oh yeah, you're a replicant. Okay.
They definitely don't have human blood. There's no way they
I can't imagine they would have organs of any kind, right? Take your blood pressure or take your heart or your pulse and be like, your pulse is 0, so
I'm just going to cut you open real quick. Let's just take a look.
It is, but they've done that in everything that's come out since then, like the like Westworld with the
first
the
season I liked of Westworld.
There's another, so there's something else out there that I'm just blanking on now where there's the robots you can't even tell, but whatever.
Do you say Robits on purpose?
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, I don't.
My notes on that is why not a blood test to identify them? And why do they sweat so much? How is a robot sweating so much?
Yeah, what kind of material is that? Right? Where can you get that?
I believe Daryl Hannah did the best acting of anybody in this movie when she spray painted her eyes with the black spray paint and just opened her eyes immediately after that. Because I know I wouldn't be able to do that. I would have been blinking and making sure the spray paint wasn't dripping in my eyes. But she sprayed it, opened her eyes, looked around. I was like, no way. I'm like, how did she do that? Good for her.
I'm sure Brian was enjoying Daryl Hannah's outfits in this movie.
I do. I love Daryl Hannah.
Do you know who Daryl Hannah is?
That was the one in the, I don't know the actress, but the one in the.
She was pretty. She was the one that
for like half the time she was in the movie.
Was she naked? I mean,
no,
she wasn't the one that he
Joanna
went to the
Cassidy.
snake. Yeah,
but
she wasn't the snake
Chris
girl.
had on a see-through shirt at one time.
Yeah,
that was the best costume in the whole thing of ridiculous costumes. Was her, just clear rain jacket. It was just a It's just
the
clear.
brawn panties.
It's like-
How many times is she gonna fall through the glass too? It's like
she kept
another glass.
falling and running through the
That
glass.
super weak glass.
She was running through Macy's, just like smashing glass after glass.
I was like,
but-
is that? It's got to knock her out eventually, right? It's just done. Is she
well, there's
done?
super strength, right? They're
Yeah.
superhuman, so I
Yeah,
guess
but-
one
But
window
still,
wouldn't
you're
stop
like,
her.
Come on.
That's what, if they can't burn, so their skin can't burn because you reached into the eggs, boiling eggs.
Right.
They're super strength. There's no way they have human. There should be super easy to test for them.
You put your hand down, you chop off a finger. If they don't flinch, robot.
Exactly.
So, do we want to like talk about the cast in this? Because
Yeah, we
there's a
can
lot
talk
of
about the
people. There's a
cast.
lot of cast. No,
You
there's
just
not-
talked about the hand. That was something I should have brought up in Kenobi. They chopped off that lady's hand. Remember?
Oh my God, that's right. She just happened to speak up.
She said, "No, excuse me." It was Reva, right? Reva cut off her hand. I'm sorry. But our
like
cast, I mentioned he plays Rick Deckard, Harrison Ford. You want to guess how old Harrison Ford
What?
was in this movie? That was my phone. I apologize.
This guy, man, had to tie his hands behind his back. Harrison
I
Ford in this
does it.
movie.
Yeah.
This is 1982. That's 40 years ago. Harrison Ford was.
It's always 40 years ago.
I know.
My guess is
Harris-
32.
You sensed.
I'm going to say 38.
38, 32,
Damn, I'm going to say 35.
39.
Okay, I was going to say he's almost 40 because he's
Because he's
almost
about
80 now.
Because I just said it the other day, I think, because the new Indiana Jones is coming out.
Oh, okay.
And he's in it. And I was like, they better not make it look like De Niro in The Irishman
He married
Oh,
a
when he
girl
stomped
from
out the guy.
Shawnee.
on the street.
What's that?
He married a girl from Shawnee.
Who, Callista Flockhart?
Yeah.
She's from Jersey?
Yeah, she's
I
from
didn't even know.
Shawnee,
They're still together, too.
Burlington County.
His earring and Callista are
The
all.
things from the 90s that he couldn't shake, that earring and Callista Flockhart. Like,
They're
how'd that
like,
happen?
hey, Indy doesn't wear an earring. He's like,
Do you think he
"Leave
gets
it
up in the
in."
morning and he's like, put the gold one in, please? I want the big stud. Put the big stud in my ear.
I'm going to go with the hoop tomorrow.
I remember growing up, Harrison Ford was the guy I most wanted to, like, Indiana Jones, the other guy, Han Solo, and
The lawyer from Witness.
and now that you heard about him as
The greaser
now we're
from
adults,
American Graffiti.
you're like, man, Harrison Ford was the worst person to know because he's such a grump.
Yeah.
Yeah. Harrison Ford.
And you're not going to get any like fun stories out of him. Like,
Dude, what was it like working with Carrie Fisher? Yeah, Carrie, she was great, man. Yeah, thanks. But he's like that in this movie. He is so Harrison Ford in this movie.
I don't think you could pick a more perfect.
In fact, the only time he's not Harrison Ford is when he's pretending to be the human rights guy. Where
Do
he's
you
like, "Hey, how you doing?" Like, look at Harrison
Do you
Ford
think Sir
acting.
Ridley Scott just never said cut at the end, and that's why Harrison Ford's been like that ever since?
They were all test scenes.
He was
Table
very.
reads.
He's one of those guys that like he gets in the character and he stays in
yeah.
character. Method. He's method. Yeah.
And he's been Decker since then.
All right. So our next build was
Who was the first build?
Harrison Ford.
Oh, did we talk
just
enough
did-
about him yet? What was he in?
Oh, you want to talk about what he was in? All right. I didn't do all that. I mean, he was in.
How many episodes of
His top four was all Star Wars, wasn't it?
No, his
were
wasn't.
all not Star Wars,
Yeah.
non-Star Wars.
I think one was, but it was also
Witness was in there. I think
Fugitive?
Fugitive was in there, and I think
Air Force One.
Have you
Right.
seen the Harrison Ford movie where he's like, he gets paralyzed, he gets shot, and he's paralyzed? He's like a
Henry.
lawyer.
Regarding
yeah.
Henry, yeah.
that's what
Regarding
it is,
Henry.
Regarding
Very
Henry.
good movie.
Oh,
yeah.
I just watched that for the first time recently.
Harrison
actually
Ford
remember that
did
movie,
a
yeah.
lot of great movies.
Yeah.
I mean, you have The Fugitive, Witness, Air Force
A
One.
New Hope.
That also. But no, Harrison Ford did a lot of great movies in a
yeah.
row. Like, he didn't have like a big stinker. Oh, the one with
Oh, The Force Awakens.
No, that's not his fault. That was not his fault. What was the one with Michelle Pfeiffer and
Working Girl.
no, that's Melanie Griffith.
But he was
also
in
a
that,
good movie.
yeah.
But no, it was a horror movie.
Michelle
Pfeiffer was
Harrison
his
Ford.
wife.
I don't think I know.
What Lies Beneath? Oh, great movie.
Oh, it was good.
And he was great in it. Oh, yeah. Because he turns out spoiler, he's the bad guy. Spoiler, a movie that's 20 years old.
What if, in 20
Some
years,
guys
we're going to be
like,
doing
I'm
it.
just going to watch that.
That was going to be one of those ones in 20 years when we do it. It's like, I have never watched it. So I'm going in cold. It's probably older than 20 years, though, isn't it?
Jesus Christ, it probably is.
What's
now.
it called?
I forgot
What
the name
Lies
of the
Beneath.
movie already.
There's another person in it too besides Michelle Pfeiffer. There's Harrison Ford, Michelle Pfeiffer.
What
and
Lies
someone.
Beneath? What did you say, 20 years ago?
Yeah.
22 years ago, so
Okay.
you're pretty close. Top Robert Zemeckis movie.
Really?
Hello, Gremlins.
So Michelle Pfeiffer, Catherine Town, Miranda Otto, James Remar, Harrison Ford. I don't see anybody else really. Yeah.
Never mind. It's been 22 years. Let's talk about Blade Runner.
This Blade Runner, man.
So after Harrison Ford, who's next?
After
build?
Harrison Ford, who do you think's next build?
I'm going to say Sean Young.
Who plays Roy?
Rucker
Howard.
Okay, him.
I say Rucker Hauer.
That's correct. Rucker Hauer. He plays Roy Batty.
The recently late Rucker Howard.
We'll get to that as well. How old
We'll
was
get to
Roy
that?
Yeah.
He's already there.
No,
He's already dead.
We'll get to his death date and age when he died. But how old was Roy Batty
In this movie.
in this movie?
I know.
Do you know this one?
4.
Yeah, Roy Batty was 4. You're right. Good
Point.
job, man. Barry, that's
I get
great.
that one. That was really good. I was like,
You
wait
win
a
all
minute.
the internet points today, man. That was very good.
Thank you.
I mean, seriously, mic drop. Like, that's it. This episode's over. This has been the excitement. Play that boat.
Brady, Rutger.
40.
Hobo with
46.
a shotgun. Love that movie.
How old? 40?
46.
46.
I never saw Hobo with a shotgun.
Do yourself a favor.
I know it's one of his top 4 too.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah, dude.
Was
It's
his
really
career
good.
that shitty? That's
No,
one of
Hobo with
his
a Shotgun
Dude, I
is really
saw
good.
it. It shouldn't be anybody's top 4, man.
I'll put it in my top 10. It's not Rubber, but it's up there.
Rubber Skirt.
I think Rubber's a great movie as well. Andy, don't go Clue on us, okay?
I mean, it's a fine movie, man. I'm sure. And now that you say that, I can't think of any movies that he did, but I know he did a lot better movies than that.
He was a great
RoboCop.
villain. Like
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
RoboCop.
RoboCop?
Wasn't he in RoboCop?
I don't remember him being in
Oh, it was
RoboCop.
Peter Weller. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Peter Weller
Yeah,
was
yeah,
RoboCop.
yeah.
I mean, Rucker Howard was in Batman Begins.
Batman Begins, yeah.
Anyway, how old was he?
I'm going to say 40.
I'm going to say 35.
The correct answer would be 38.
Okay.
38.
I thought he was a lot older than that. I don't know. He's looked.
He died in 2019. He was 75.
COVID?
No,
He died.
it was a heart attack, I think.
I looked that up. July and this 2019, and the movie takes place November
2019.
19th.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah,
2019.
yeah.
It's way in the future of 2019.
All right,
Yeah,
so
that's
crazy.
Rutger's top 4 is Blade Runner, Hobo with a Shotgun.
Wow.
You're going to hate yourself here, Andy. The Hitcher and Sin City are his other...
Sin City. He was in Sin City.
Oh, he's the
Cardinal.
He's the priest that Mickey Rourke goes and kills. Yes,
176 credits.
Wow, good for him.
176.
Sin City.
176, yeah.
And Hobo with a Shotgun's one of the top 4.
1968, he was in shit. 1969.
All right.
Wow.
All right.
All right. Rucker Hauer, okay.
Where's he from? Was he Dutch? He's not American,
He is
right?
From
He's got a little bit of something going on there. Swedish,
Netherlands.
Netherlands.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, and he died following a short illness in the Netherlands.
that's how I want to go.
Could have been COVID.
I'm
Short
gonna be like-
illness.
Yeah.
Andy's sick. Oh shit, Andy's dead. That's how I want to go.
Yeah. That's how I want him to go too. Next we'll do Sean Young. She plays Rachel in the movie. And how old do you think Sean Young is, who was quite a wild woman in her
Yeah, I know the
in
story
her,
about her
Hollywood
with Batman.
career,
I'm gonna say she was like 25 here.
I'm gonna go one
Did you
lower.
check your notes?
24.
Did you have that in your notes?
No,
Oh,
I
thought you
actually
had it in
I
your
didn't look
notes.
at Sean Young though.
She looked really good in this.
She looked really
I was going to say 25, but I'll go 26 then.
So 25, 26, and what did you say?
24.
22. She was only 20.
Wow.
Over guessing. I should have gone younger.
Yeah.
Jeez, she doesn't look that young. The only other thing I really know her from is Ace Ventura. Of course, she's Ray Finkel. Back when we could make fun of people that were transgender, that was funny back then. But I'm sure Ace Ventura does not hold up well today.
That was about 30 years ago, right? Ace Ventura.
It probably was about 30 years ago. But that whole plot with him grabbing her,
Grabbing her by the what?
grabbing her junk and stuff like that, and saying he hid Mr. Winky. That does not track in 2022. No way.
No, I don't think you're not making that.
They just have to cut out the throwing up after all the people that had sex with her.
Ace, can I get a piece of gum? That's none of your business, Dan.
Have you seen this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what else she was in, really.
I didn't look her up. Again, I told you I just did.
She was a darling of the late 80s, right? Wasn't she?
She was
I
she
do
in-
know.
Was she in Dune? Damn, I think she was in
Sounds like she
Dune.
might
I
have
think
been,
she was
maybe.
in Dune.
The David Lynch
Yeah,
one?
she was.
Yeah, David Lynch Dune.
She was the Zendaya character.
I think she was. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, she played.
it's been a long time.
Shani.
Yeah.
Shani. No Way Out.
No Way Out. Okay.
Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049.
She was in 2049.
Wow.
As what is it? Archive footage?
I mean, she was, but I don't think that was really
Is
her.
it archive footage?
You know what? I haven't seen 2049 in a while. I was going to rewatch it when I watched this. I just ran out of time. But I think there's a scene where Rachel's in it, but it's like current. You know, it's Rachel. So you're like, yeah, Sean
She
Young
played
doesn't look like
Louise
that.
in Stripes. She was in Young Doctors in Love.
She was in Stripes. Oh, she was the one with the MPs that they. Yeah, okay.
Wall Street.
Wow, she had a huge career in the 80s.
Yeah, I remember being in a lot of stuff.
She has
remember the
176
movies.
credits. Fatal Instinct. Ace Ventura is 94.
But when you say she had she was wacky or something like that, what do you know her?
I just
being
heard that
wacky?
she had some like really crazy relationships. I don't.
Well, I know that she was cast as Vicky Vale in the first Batman movie, and then she broke her arm or leg horseback riding or something like that. And they
she
had
was
to
little
drop
crazy.
her, and then they put Kim Basinger in that role. Basinger,
Are you saying that correctly?
Passenger. And so she missed out there, but then she wanted to be Catwoman, and she showed up at Tim Burton's like house or something like that, dressed in a Catwoman, homemade Catwoman outfit.
That sounds.
And they were
like
like,
an
"You
awesome
are
story."
fucking crazy. No way are we letting you anywhere near
Look,
the
you
set."
are pun intended, batshit crazy.
I would have thought with Tim Burton that would have 100% landed the
It would
role.
be great.
Sounds like something would be
yeah.
right up his
Helena
alley.
was probably like, no. All right, so Sean
Johnny
Young.
Depp was like, I can do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
All of a sudden, I'm British. Why am I British now?
He lives in France too, but he's British.
But he's American.
And bringing up Sean Young,
Yeah. Please.
the rape scene.
You know what? As I was watching, this is the first time I've ever watched Blade Runner where I was like, oh,
Yeah,
this is rape right here. He
that did not
let her-
feel comfortable.
Yeah. Yep. I looked at that differently than I've looked at that scene.
And that's one of
before.
my notes. Can
Gentlemen,
you rape
gentlemen,
a
I beg to
robot?
disagree.
That's the only way Jason gets laid these days. Where he just slams the door.
I paid for an hour.
It's been 37 seconds.
I'm gonna get my full hour. Next he was playing Gaff. How old is Edward James Olmos in this movie? Again, fourth build, but he had less than 10 minutes screen time. I'm Jason.
What was up with his eyes? Was he wearing contacts or something like that? He had blue eyes. And that's not what I'm used to Colonel Adama wearing or having.
He looked really young in this. So
He was like 30. Wait, Harrison Ford was 38. He was, I'm going to say he's Harrison Ford's age. He's 38 also.
38.
36.
36.
yeah, so he's Adama 20 years later.
He's a what?
Adama.
Adama. So I'm going to say a little older. I'm going to say 40.
He was 35.
Wow.
So that puts him at 75 now.
Okay.
He's had quite a career.
Which is crazy because he looks older than 75 in Battlestar Galactica. He looks rough in that. Bad lighting too. That whole movie was filmed in or the TV show was filmed in the light of the room, so it's all dim and dingy looking.
Up next was Andy's boy Emmett Walsh. He played was he the chief, please, or just the?
I don't know what the structure of the law enforcement in this.
He spoke English, and Edward James you didn't know he even spoke English in the beginning.
When they picked him up, Decker up on the street.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden at the end of the movie, he's speaking English.
Yeah, because they had he had the guy behind the grill there.
Well, they never said what language they were speaking either. Was that it said foreign
and he was
language.
He was arrested because he was a Blade Runner, right? But that basically just.
I wonder if that was like a made up language, it's 40 years in the future. English and Chinese and Japanese have all been mushed into one language.
Janglish Unchained.
There was twice while we were watching where it was that other language speaking, and he asked me, he was like, "What did they say right there? What were they saying?" And I was like.
I don't speak Chinglish.
I don't speak 2019 or future Chinese.
I don't speak past. It's in the past.
I don't speak. That language died in 2019.
That's like
that's like Latin. It's a dead language.
It's like Sanskrit.
Oh, that was my notes for the future.
You have Sanskrit in your notes?
No, it says 37 years in the future, and they could imagine flying cars, but not flat screen panels, fixing smog, digital photos, but they had super high resolution video.
I'm going to say right now, my favorite scene in that entire movie is that zooming in the picture, the 45 to 15. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, this is so cool. Because I remember the first time I ever watched the movie being just like, oh my God, can you imagine if we ever get to the point where we can do that?
I was thinking,
so cool.
I didn't know. I was like, there wasn't Zoom when this movie came
No.
out.
And, print me a hard copy and it's like a Polaroid. It was almost like a Kodak.
It was a horrible Polaroid.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to the field. Do you know this person? What, this thumb smudge of a person here? Yeah, no, I don't know that person. Sorry. But that technology, I remember when I watched that the first time, just that. Zooming in and zooming in to the point where you can actually see someone all the way in the background of a picture. Oh my God. That's so cool.
It really.
I was actually looking when I was watching it today. I was like, when's the zoom in part come?
That was fun. Do you have any other things that you listed that they didn't fix or?
Well, no cell phones, but public video phones.
Yeah. Yeah.
I heard they just got rid of the last payphone in Times Square.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Because he makes that call to Rachel, and she won't accept it. And then it just says charge, blah, 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 whatever the charge was.
So you're still getting charged for phone calls.
It was a collect call. She's like, hello, collect call, 2019.
Do you remember that? Like a call to California cost more than a call to
anywhere else.
Ohio.
Well, I remember.
Do you probably don't know that.
No, Brady doesn't know that. No way.
That's what I'm saying. That's like
we actually had to pay to make phone calls.
It was like
I remember
price
when
if you called California versus if you called Ohio. Yeah,
we would leave my grandparents' house, and my mom would call my grandmother to let her know we made it home, but it would just ring 3 times, and she would hang up. That was the signal: ring, ring, and hang up because you wouldn't want her to pick it up because as soon as she picked it up, it cost money. So it was just that was the signal: ring, ring, ring.
Or like when you were like making a collect call to somebody come pick you up.
State your name. Come pick me up now.
You know how many times I did that?
It's Jason, I'm ready. Come get me.
Yep. Mom, pick me up with the flagpole.
I don't know if I've ever even seen a payphone.
That's awesome.
But every time I think of a payphone, I just think of Futurama when Fry,
the suicide
when Fry's giving a tour of past New York and he goes, and those are the public bathrooms.
It's awesome.
These are my notes too on says that there's no way they would create perfect human replicants that weren't immediately used for sex and not for space mining.
Well, didn't they say
90% of people of the replicants would have been sex robots?
Didn't they say Daryl Hannah was like a pleasure model or
yeah,
something?
but they would
like
have
that?
all been pleasure models, and they never ever would have been like, no, we can't use them anymore.
Yeah, at least the first sets would have
The
been
first generation.
Yeah.
Oh, Brady, I can't even look you in the eye and talk about this. I wanted to say something, but I'm like, Brady's sitting right there. That's fine. It's
How
best
come
that
they
he's
didn't
sitting
use
right there.
spice in this dystopian society? Right, that wasn't one of the drugs.
A space melange, something like that. Yeah, no. they
Which
didn't.
I know I'll keep doing this, but the Obi-Wan Kenobi, the girl that sells spice to or gives spice to Ewan McGregor, that's his real life daughter.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
And she gave him a
kinda
free
cool.
one?
Yeah.
What drug dealer gives you a free one and you just walk
She said
away?
the first one's free.
First
and
one's
I'll tell you what,
free, but I
and
mean,
that drug
I know
knocked
that-
out Flea and whoever else was in that room too. When he
First
just
one's
got-
free, but not when you're coming from a different planet.
when it's
man. They
like-
want
and you don't even know
hooked
the
there.
guy.
Yeah, you want him coming back to you.
I was like, you're coming on to your dad right now. I was like, stop it. It's disturbing.
so where are we? Blade Runner?
We were talking about Emmett Walsh.
Oh.
How old you thought he was? He was probably like the youngest in the cast.
I'm gonna say he was 45. He was the captain, Mr. Gemstone.
Brian.
Yeah, I'm 45. That's good. I'm going to go 47.
I'll go 44.
47 is
Nice job.
correct.
So is he 90? Wait, what's that, man?
That makes it
87.
87.
87. Sorry. Yeah. So he's 87 now. And
Yeah, he's 87 now, and he just did Gemstones.
yeah.
So figure like
And his best role ever was Dr. Jellyfingers in Fletch. Drop your shorts and bend over, Mr. Bavar. Oh, no, really? We don't have to.
I didn't even want to go into his because he's got I think over several hundred.
Yeah.
Of
I mean, he's been around for 87 years. He's been acting for
do
82
you
of
think
them.
any of those movies that you just said are in his top four?
Do his
though?
top 10 or 4. Yeah. 4. Fuck. Blade Runner, Fletch, and
Blade Runner is in his top four.
Fletch is not.
Fletch is not.
Then I won't get the rest.
Blood Simple,
Never saw it.
The Jerk. I said that earlier.
Oh, he's the
that's
bounty
right,
hunter.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I forgot he was in this movie, Critters.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that's his top four.
Fletch should be in there too.
His total filmography, he has 231 acting credits.
And still doing them.
Yeah. And still getting those residual checks, probably just like because we just watched
Shaking.
you just watched the Jerk, or you just watched Daryl Hannah, she was young in this. How young?
25.
I'm going to go 23.
I'll go right in between 24.
You should have went even younger, 21. She was only
Damn.
And this is
21.
1982. And when's Splash? 85?
It's got to be 85.
Yeah, right? So she was
yeah.
only 25 in that.
Yeah.
Wow, man. She was really young.
I remember seeing her hiney in that.
She comes right out of the water in at the Liberty Island, right?
Rated PG.
I was just going to say that's a PG movie with nudity, like Airplane.
Lots of nudity in Splash, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I saw it in the theater.
Me
too. Daryl Hannah, she was, what's her top
Pris. Oh, her top four? What do you think?
4? I mean, like, is
Splash has got to be number
Splash,
one.
is Kill Bill in that? Clan of the Cave Bear?
What's the one with Steve Martin's big nose?
Oh,
Roxanne.
Roxanne. Great
You guys
movie,
said
yeah.
what? You said Splash. That is correct. Kill Bill. Which volume?
She dies in the second, so I'm going to say 2.
2.
That's
say
where her
2.
other eye gets pulled out.
She's in, or her top 4. Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2.
Oh.
Both of them are in there. And her number 1 movie is Wall Street.
Oh, right. Yeah. Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2 should not count as 2 different movies in the IMDb stupid game we play.
Yeah.
That's on there. Their algorithm had it. Not our. I mean,
Not algorithm.
Oh,
Algorithm.
I had an IMDb note.
Oh, my God.
I like it when he has it.
We haven't gotten to him yet, though.
Oh wait, I might have him. Let's see.
John F. Sebastian.
Larry.
J.F. Sebastian. Yeah, Larry, Darryl, and
That's
Darryl.
William Sanderson. J.F.
Yeah.
Sebastian is what we're going to do next.
So, what do you immediately think when you think of Sebastian?
him?
Yeah,
Like the guy himself?
Yeah.
He's Larry, Darryl, and Darryl from Newark.
exactly. I went through his like top 20 credits, spanning through. No Newhart.
Really?
Yeah. Really?
Yeah,
Did you go chronologically? And you just
I just
didn't
did.
get
I
there?
just went to the top 4 and then just kept spinning. No new
Interesting.
heart.
William Sanderson. Let me see what comes up as top 4.
I think Blade Runner was in there.
Blade Runner's in there. Last Man Standing, Deadwood, and True Blood.
Oh yeah, Deadwood. He's what is he in Deadwood?
He's got 134 credits, so he's been in a lot.
Is he the newspaper guy, or is Jeffrey Jones the newspaper guy in Deadwood?
Jeffrey Jones, the
Is he?
newspaper
Okay.
guy.
Huh.
What were we saying you couldn't find him in?
As I
Newhart.
kept spanning
Newhart,
through
right?
there,
Yeah.
there was no Newhart. And I was like, that's the thing everyone knows him from.
My name is Daryl. Or my name is Larry. This is my brother Daryl.
It
This is my
Takes
brother
Two.
Daryl.
He was in an episode of It Takes Two. I remember that. Fletch. He played Swarthouse.
Oh yeah, he is in Fletch. That's right. He's the guy that sells the
He's
phony
in,
property.
No, that's not what I thought it was. Yeah, Newhart right there. He's in 91 episodes of Newhart from 82 to 90.
That should be his top.
Should
That should
definitely be his top.
villain.
I would think that should be in his top 4, I would think. He's
Yeah.
in 91 episodes, too. That's quite a bit.
So that's who plays JF Sebastian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what
I like his toys.
I gotta
Do you
say,
like his toys?
I'm a little bummed out he dies off screen.
Yeah, right?
I would have liked to see him just get.
And what did he suffer from?
He was lonely.
No, it was.
I thought he was just weird.
because
She said,
he had to-
"How old are you?"
Methuselah
syndrome.
Yeah.
He had mesothelioma.
He was 25, but he looked older. And
Oh, that okay.
And
yeah,
I will
remember that. All right.
save you the trouble because I looked it up because I'm like, how old is he? How old is he? Because he says he's 25, but he's 35 in this. So I was like, well, that's not that much older.
William
Like,
Sand-
he didn't look.
we're still talking William Sanderson, right?
Yeah,
He's 38.
38. Okay. Oh, then yeah, he didn't look 38.
And like, why does his toys look like midgets? He could have made them look
Do you
like,
think they might have been?
but he should have made them look like normal human.
I liked the way the one was just like walking.
Not that midgets aren't.
And the
normal
one with
humans.
the with the long nose,
Should I
like
part to
he
Michelle?
gave him the side eye at one point. Like I'm like, that thing's like understanding what's going on here.
And it like grunted one time.
That whole, who would want to live there, man? Everything was wet. Everything must have smelled of mildew.
Yeah, I was thinking mildew. Ugh.
Gross.
And like, how did
Just
they
that
film
wet
that?
smell
It
is
was
horrible.
so
That-
wet in the water run. Like, amazing how they film that.
Yeah, because it was raining all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite aspect of the whole movie, besides the aesthetic and like the vibe and the visuals, is the music. I love this.
Vangelis,
Yeah.
the recently late Vangelis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great music.
The
yeah.
music
my
is
God.
it definitely it makes.
Yeah, I wanted to
Yeah.
bring my
Yeah.
my MIDI keyboard because I was like, I could play that.
You should have. That would have been fun.
Yeah, the great music of the time of the early 80s, but also sounded futuristic as it was being played. There's nothing bad about this movie as far as like everything looks and sounds of it, except for the anachronisms that
I'll
we
go
now
over
live
these,
past 2019.
I'll go over these last few ages real quick. We had Brian James,
Uh-huh,
Brion
Leon.
James. He played Leon. He was 37. He died in 1999. He was only 54.
I mean, he was a staple of those.
Damn, he's
80s
dead,
and
huh?
90s
Yeah.
movies.
He was also in Fifth Element. He was like the
Yeah, that's
colonel
right.
in that. He was really good in that.
Joe Turkel. He played Dr. Eldon Tyrell.
Oh, Tyrell. Yeah, I don't.
Still alive.
He's still alive.
Still
That
alive.
guy
Yeah.
is he 100?
He was 54.
So he's almost
90,
100.
He's 94. And
Him and James Hong.
Joanna Cassidy. She's 38 or 36 in this. She's
I had
still
a note
alive.
about her. When I saw her, I was thinking Jan from The Office.
I didn't.
She reminded me of
Oh,
that.
okay. Yeah, Pam Beasley. All right.
The American Office.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know that one. Then I don't know the actress that you're talking.
Whatever, man. You're too cool for The Office.
No, I don't
get
watch it.
I know you're too cool for it.
You can't tell me that I should go watch that. I need to watch that right now. The Office.
No, I wouldn't tell you that. You're too cool for it, man. I know. I know you. I know you're too cool for it.
It's just one of those shows. I just don't have.
You
any
don't have to
interest in.
explain yourself, man. I get it. Like I got other
I am
shit to
pretty
watch.
cool. I'd rather watch.
Brady loves
Bad.
The American Office.
American
I
Office is
do.
good.
I don't.
Up till Steve Carell
I don't-
leaves.
There are a lot of better comedies, but I do like it a lot.
I don't have any. A lot of people like it. I understand that a lot of people like it. It's just not my cup of tea. I don't like Steve Carell. That's my problem.
Oh, then you'll hate it.
And I don't get not liking Steve Carell. He's like one of those guys.
And the
where I'm
thing
like,
is,
do
I
not
like
him.
Steve Carell in certain things. Like I enjoyed him on the Dana Carvey skit show. the sketch show that he had for 6 episodes.
I was going to say all 3 episodes that all 10 people watched.
There's a great documentary on Hulu about that. It's really good.
So many people worked on the Dana Carvey show.
Louis C.K. was on there. Robert Smigel. Steve Carell and Steve Colbert.
Oh, that's
They're
right.
both on there.
Isn't that where the ambiguously gay duo started?
Yeah, Robert Smigel started that. And then that's when I think
Steve Carell's Jay.
I think somebody said something about I think it was Steve Carell said, he said in the documentary, he's like, we had it, they did this, they did a couple cartoons like that. And then next thing you know, he said it was on Saturday Night Live. He's like, what the hell? He had no idea.
And it wasn't his voice?
It was his voice, but he didn't know,
okay.
he didn't know that they had sold it or got it picked up by SNL. So that was funny. But James Hong we mentioned earlier. I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast, but he was 53 in this. So,
and how many credits does he have?
James Hong is up there.
He's been a staple in movies since the 80s.
I mean, he was
in his 50s in the 80s.
He was like Tia Carrere's father in Wayne's World.
That's
and
right.
he
What's your guess? His top 4: Big Trouble in Little China.
He was in Big Trouble in Little China.
Kung Fu Panda.
Okay.
Blade Runner, and then a Kung Fu Panda 2, the sequel.
Ah,
I know. I don't like it either.
Go away from Kung Fu Panda. Like,
I can't
name some
do
of
it.
his
That's
other
their top
things.
4. That's it.
Well, I mean, but you're in IMDb. Name some other things that he's in.
Tell me how many he's in. I'm not going to go through all 453.
I'm going to guess 452. I don't want to go over.
453 credits. That's insane.
He was in 2 movies I know of this year.
Really?
One was voice acting. He was in the new Pixar movie.
1954 was his first credit.
And he was in Everything Everywhere.
Oh,
All
okay.
at Once.
Everything
So
All
that's
Once.
2 at
Gotcha.
least this
What'd you
year.
say, the Kung Fu Panda movie?
Well, what was the Pixar movie
TV
that came out this
series?
year?
Oh my god!
Everything,
That was
everywhere,
the,
all at
Panda
once.
one.
Turning red.
Turning red. Yeah.
Yeah, Turning Red.
Isn't that about a period?
Yeah.
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 I'm not.
That's a Pixar movie, huh?
Yeah.
I've seen that on
Doesn't excite
Disney
you?
Plus. What,
And
periods or
you looked-
Pixar?
You got really depressed.
You got really depressing.
Andy does not have his red wings.
Dude, really? Your son is sitting inches from you.
He doesn't know what that is.
I think he did because they snickered. I heard a snicker. Oh man!
When Brady goes on a mass killing spree, we know why. This is for you, Dad.
I also read that
Brady, don't do that, man. You can always come here and hang out, dude. We can smoke and drink and have fun and watch movies, man. I won't put you in any pressure to talk sexual grossness like your father does.
Did you know that Arnold Schwarzenegger was
That straw almost poked you.
I saw it too. I went like
It's
this.
coming at him.
Arnold Schwarzenegger was almost was considered for the role of Deckard.
Interesting.
Yeah, but he went on to his own dystopian.
Well, I was going to say,
future.
well, he did another Philip K. Dick movie. He did Total Recall. And Minority Report, Tom Cruise was also Philip K. Dick. And I think
wasn't there a Matt Damon one? The Adjustment Bureau or something like that?
Dog shit movie, yeah. I remember after Total Recall had come out that they were going to do, Total Recall, they were going to do Minority Report with Arnold. And it was going to be like a sequel. It was going to be like the Dick verse. And then they were going to remake Blade Runner with Arnold.
The creative Dick verse.
But then they never ended up doing that. They just made it like separate movies. But there was going to be, the character of, who's in Total Recall? That is Richard Benjamin. He was, was that Richard Benjamin? No, that's Running Man.
That was Richard Dawson.
Who's
The Running Man?
Who's Total Recall? Hauser. Whatever.
Doogie.
I'm done. I can't think of it anymore.
I think he meant to say Mauser from Police
Captain
Academy.
Mauser. Wowzer.
Wait, what was the name of the club? And that your friend would do the song wrong every time. What song would he
Oyster
do?
Bar?
Yeah, but what would he do? What song would
He would do.
That's what he meant to do.
That's what he meant to do.
And he's doing the circus thing.
And that's why we love Bob.
That's such a great story. I love that story. Do you have any other moments you want to talk about before we go into like their? I don't want to go right.
Did we
into
discuss
like
like
that.
the?
We didn't really.
I
Get
know we
into the
brought
movie
it up,
part, I
but
know.
like the theatrical versus final cut versus director's
we
cut.
mentioned
Like,
how
did we
there's no
talk about
narration.
that?
That was
Like,
in the beginning. We mentioned it, and because I think you asked him what.
I'm really disappointed that I can't find
cuts
the
that he's seen,
theatrical cut.
For like moments, the ending monologue, the Tears in the Rain.
Tears in the Rain.
I love
Yes.
that.
I thought that was much
so
longer
much.
too when he did it this time. I'm like, that was like 30 seconds. Like I thought it was a
You thought it was just like a one-liner, kind
5-minute kind of. Let me tell you what I've seen, because he did say to Tyrell, "Let me tell you what I've seen." Oh no, he says that
Marjorie
to,
Tyrell.
He says it to Wong when he said, "Let me tell you what I've seen with your eyes" or whatever.
Yeah.
But he doesn't tell you what he's seen.
Christine came in to
Did he kill him? Did he kill
to
Wong
harass me during
or
that.
Chew? That he was. His name was
Hannibal
Chew.
Chew, yeah.
Did he kill Chew? He must have killed
Yeah.
Chew. He had to kill
Yeah, he
everybody.
killed, yeah.
He didn't want to be tied back, right?
Yeah, that scene is like, it might be my favorite movie scene ever, the whole ending. Because I love Blade Runner so much. And my mom walked in during the scene and just started talking to my dad while he was like doing it.
Harassing
And I was
him.
Has she seen the movie before, or was she
Oh, no,
coming in to
no.
bother
She came
you
in
for something
to
else?
show me something on her phone. And then Brady's like, "This is the best part of the movie. Get out!"
And tell me she left.
She left.
She left, yeah. It was-
Because Brady asked her so nicely.
well,
But seriously, it's
No,
a 2 hour. It's a 2 hour movie. You're getting to the end
well,
of the movie. Your
she
favorite
just-
part. I mean,
she
come
just
on.
like, it was just, yeah, I yelled. I didn't have to yell, but she just picked the worst part to come in. And I ushered with my hand to leave first. And then she walked up to him and I figured maybe she'd just be like really quiet or wait. And she just shoved the phone in front of my dad's face and started
Look at this cat.
talking.
Look
Have
at
you
this
seen
cat
this
video.
Then she was mad at me.
That's awesome. Women are the worst, man. You'll realize the older you get how bad they are. I happened to talk loudly to my wife 12 hours ago, and I'm still getting the silent treatment now because I said, "Would you relax?"
You don't say that. The R word. The R word.
I said, "Would you relax?" Because she needed to relax.
I can't
And
tell
now
you-
I'm still paying for that.
I can't
now.
tell you how many times
I
I
said
said-
to her before, "What do you want for dinner?" She's like, "I don't know." And I was like, "That means Andy's getting his own dinner."
Can't tell you how many times you just. Would you just calm down? Don't do it.
Christine doesn't respond unless I'm like, "Yep. Will you pipe down, you filthy whore?" And then she gets mad at me.
But that's the only way she listens.
It's the only thing she hears when I throw whore at the end of it.
So, did Roy Batty just die there? Was that it? Was his 4 years and he just dies on the rooftop there?
After he saves them.
Because he says something.
Yeah, he
about
basically
this is
says
it.
he's
Well,
ready
I mean-
to go, right? I mean,
I don't want to make any crazy assumptions, but he says time to die.
Kind of die,
Yeah.
right? He says
So-
something right.
So I
Did I guess the biggest question of the whole movie is Deckard a
Replicant?
replicant? Based on the theatrical release, he's not. But based on the final cut that
in
I
the
think we all
theatrical
watched,
release, there's a scene that shows that, or
no,
in the narration.
in this movie, in the final cut, there's when he's just like playing the piano and he kind of like just puts his head down the piano and he starts zoning out and the unicorn starts dancing through. And then later on, when he's leaving with Rachel, there's the unicorn sitting out there. That's supposed to be like the sign that they implanted that dream in his head.
Yeah.
And so he's a replicant. But that unicorn thing is not in the theatrical movie. So
That's a quick scene too.
yeah,
That's like a sec.
I think that one's full interpretation because earlier wasn't it Gaff who left it?
yeah.
And
Edward
he
James
was
Olmos,
he was
yep.
doing like
He was doing
throughout
origami
the
during
movie.
it. Yes, yep.
So and then
And then
also
he picks that up, right?
At the
he's
end,
in-
he steps on it and he picks it up and it's a unicorn.
and
It was a
he's-
weird
he's
ending.
He's alive in 2049,
Which
and
would
which would
you
mean
would
he
say
couldn't
like
be
why?
one, right?
Yeah, they only have 4 years.
They
And
have
I
4 years.
watched 2049 only one time, so I don't know
I
if
haven't
they
watched that.
really actually did they
to
actually
watch that
tell
I saw it
whether
right
he's a
after
replicant or not in that
was-
one. Do they?
I think it's never confirmed nor denied in that movie, but I love that movie too.
That's a. I wanted to
so
watch
good.
that also. I just ran out of time today
But-
because I had to watch Stranger Things.
I can't. I'd have to
Sad
rewatch
about
to remember if they explicitly say whether he's not. But if he's alive, him being alive, I guess implies he couldn't be because if they only lived for 4 years.
Yeah, right.
I remember when this came out, they said that no matter what version of Blade Runner you watched, it wouldn't contradict that version that you saw. And the final cut, this one that we all saw, really implies that he's a replicant, but I don't know. I'd have to investigate 2049 more to remember why. Did he like pull his 4-year chip
How
out?
about in the book?
But the book is nothing like the movie at all.
I feel like it's just full interpretation, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. And
I
I'm
like-
glad.
I like-
I'm
I
glad
like
that a
that,
movie
yeah.
this long in the past, you can still say like,
And it's
what do you think? Like,
and it
was it?
still holds up. Different and for different
There was
generations.
a scene where
too.
Daryl Hannah is running across the street in the rain before she meets JF, which I guess was all set up. Like she was trying to meet JF
Yeah.
because they had to get in his place. But she's running across the street. It's raining, and like some helicopter or hover thing goes like flying right over her head. And I'm like, that's not new. That's not a 2020 thing that they added to. That's a 1982 special effect. Still look great. Still
it
really held
really
up.
looks like a real place.
Yeah.
Like,
And
do we know who made that? Like, who produced that?
Like, was it Industrial Lights and Magic or someone like
Yeah,
that? Like,
like
I'm not really sure
the-
who did
Yeah,
all
I
that.
don't
There's
know
a
if there
shot-
was anything like that in the.
there was a shot in Tyrell's office when the sun's coming up,
Oh,
and it's just the most beautiful. It's like
yeah, where he's
perfect
giving the
shot.
test to her and the sun's coming up. That was
Mhm.
great. That's the only time you see the sun, I think, the
Yeah.
entire time.
And even then, it's still dark.
And
But
those
it's just
buildings, like
it's
who's
so-
building those pyramid-shaped buildings? Like, what a dumb design.
And how
man.
long ago would they? That was what have started like 10
Now.
years before they were built.
Or, yeah, now, not now, because obviously it's now. Now is now, but yeah, that was being built in the
13
'80s.
different people listed for special effects, and then you have 15 people for visual effects.
But no
Yeah, like
company,
the
like
set
no.
design was insane.
Yeah,
there's
so
no names like that.
It still looks like a movie that you're like, even though it takes place in 2019, you could just add 20 years to it and be like, oh yeah, that's 2042 right there. Look how gross it is, and that's probably what's going to happen in 20 years.
You got all like people on
If
here.
gas price keeps going
2007
up.
Final Cut version. You got
Did they mention Pink Floyd at all in their Final Cut version?
no, but that is a great album.
I really like how that it's slow paced. I like the slow pace.
You know what? I wanted to point out that the first time I saw this, I was like 15 years old, and I remember just being like, "That's not Han Solo. That's not Indiana Jones. Like, whatever. I don't care about this movie." And then I saw it
Few
again
years
in my
later,
I
yeah.
saw it in my 20s, and I was like, "Man, this is really actually this movie." Not only rewards you for multiple viewings, but you need to watch it more. If you watch it one time, if I brought Michelle down here and watched it one time, she'd be like, "Whatever. I never want to watch that again." But this is probably like the 7th or 8th time I've watched it, and man, it's great. It's so much fun to watch. There's so much going on. Every scene when they're down in the gritty city.
Are we going into
oh.
your? Are we going into your rating?
No,
here?
no.
I
I'm
mean,
just
because
saying
we
that.
can.
I'm just like
How far
expounding
in
on
are
what
we?
Brady was
saw-
saying. Like,
I have two more notes I want to make.
Yeah,
Okay.
Breeze. Let's
but
get
Brady
to-
has
I was
something to
gonna
say.
say I saw it for the first time like a year ago, and I've already seen it 3 or 4
Yeah,
times.
awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And I saw it for the first time with him.
Last year,
Yeah, like during COVID.
man.
I just said
I'm
that.
glad we did
didn't I?
these 1982 movies for Brian 40
Yeah,
years
this
later.
is great,
'cause-
man. You haven't seen Creep Show yet, right? It's
No,
one of your
I've
fri-
never seen
And
Creep
what
Show.
else has he not seen yet?
Basket Case. He
I never
hasn't
saw
seen.
Conan.
Rocky
Conan, well,
3.
none of
he
us
hasn't
saw
seen.
Conan. Rocky 3, E.T.
Like, wait, you saw E.T.?
I saw it.
Yeah. I was like,
You saw it last week when we
Wait
watched
a
it.
second. Was Rattakan that your first time seeing
No,
Rattakan?
that was an HBO repeat.
It's crazy the amount of movies he has seen, and then the ones that he hasn't seen. Because you watch so much weird nonsense that no one else
Did you watch
knows about.
Warrior Nun? No. That's a series. He's
What
looking
about
for
the
season
100?
2.
Do you like the 100?
I've never watched the 100.
Oh, by the way, the other day I was on something. I don't know what the 100's on, Paramount, Netflix, whatever it's on. And I just happened to be like going to the menu and looking. I'm like, 100, season 3, episode 8. I'm like, the fuck? I'm like, what's going on here? And I actually stood up. I'm like, Michelle, 100? She's like, oh yeah, I'm watching that now. I'm like, no, you are not watching the 100.
what?
And she's like, oh yeah, I'm really liking it. She's like, she's like, you would never want to watch this, but she's like, I'm liking it. I'm like, that explains everything. The fact that like Michelle watched Bridgerton and then said, Brian,
Brian's-
watch this. Sorry, Brian, watch this. I was like, yeah, he
Brian
watched
Papa
it.
Bear.
Yesterday he was talking about Bridgerton. He talked about it for like 10, 15 minutes. Not a word about the plot. All 15 minutes were about whoever, like I guess one of
Was
the,
it the
one of the
girl?
one of the girl characters. He talked for 15 minutes about her.
Was your mom
And
or
he was
any of your
talking like
sisters around?
to
when-
my mom. He was like He was like,
Why
Christine,
can't you look more like Julie Christie? Come on.
He was like, Christine, this one. And she was
Nice
like,
reference. Warren Beatty over here.
I was talking about him today earlier.
she was like, which one? And he goes, the hot one.
Listen, he said the name of this girl on Bridgerton. I Googled it that time. We were sitting over there, and I was like, we didn't get it. We didn't understand it.
I mean, I'm sure she's on
She's
TV. I'm
not,
sure
dude.
she's good looking.
No.
But
She did something. For
What's her
me.
name? Sophia?
they don't put ugly people
I
on
don't
TV, so I'm
remember
sure
now.
she's somewhat attractive.
She's super attractive.
But you don't
You know
know
who's
this.
super attractive? That girl. I don't even watch the show, but the lead on that Euphoria, not Zendaya. Some girl.
I don't
She's a
know who that
blonde
is.
on Euphoria. That girl's
Zendaya's hot, but I don't know
But I
who
mean,
the other
this
girl
girl's.
is.
I have to get her name after the podcast.
she
I'll
wears
let you-
like funky clothes and stuff.
She's beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Oh,
Something
it's Sydney Sweeney.
That's it, Sydney
Sydney
Sweeney.
Sweeney.
Sydney
It's so
Sweeney.
funny. Zendaya was whatever she was in the
She's
first
hot.
Spider-Man movie, and then she turned 18 by the second one. I'm like, yeah, all right. She's 18 now. Now I can
Yeah,
say
she's
she's
only-
hot.
she's like-
she was not hot in the first one when she was 16, but
She's
now
probably
she's
like
hot.
what, early 20s now, right?
Well, yeah, like Tom Holland's like 38 or something like that. No. He's like 26.
I was like,
but
wait a
still.
minute. I thought
He
he was
looks like
going to be
a,
younger.
he looks like a
ones, too.
child.
You had
Brady,
him,
Brady looks older than
I'm
him.
sure when he's 38, he'll still be
Yeah.
playing.
you had him older than
15-year-olds.
Tobey Maguire.
I think Tom Holland and my son use the same shaving regimen. Like once every 3 months, they're like, there's one. Gotta get it.
There you go. Like getting the shaving cream out. You have 2 more points, Brian, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, let me pull them up. So oh my God. The constant cross now and don't walk.
That scene with the cross now, move
would-
on.
that would
move
drive
on,
people
move
crazy.
on. That was
That would
great.
cause people to murder
Yes.
each other.
And also it was saying cross now, and it was going green, red, cross now. Like, what do we do?
I would just go home. I'm not going
Because there are like street vendors and stuff. Those
Yeah.
people would have
Oh
gone
my God.
nuts.
Yeah, they heard that for 8 hours. That's like getting off a cruise ship and hearing Africa by Toto being played and going into town and coming back 8 hours later and hearing Africa from Toto
Wait,
being
did that
played.
really
You're like,
play the whole 8 hours?
and I'm like, these people were standing here outside the ship and this one motherfucking song was being played the entire time.
It was like a 6-minute song, too.
It just
You'd
was
hear
like-
it 10 times an hour.
Christian and I came off the ship and we found Andy and Michelle just like sitting there, like holding their
We'd
hands.
only been off the ship for like 10 minutes. I'd already heard Africa like 80 times. I'm like, we got off in Fort Lauderdale. Key West.
Key West.
We were in Key West. We were in America.
Is there a reason for that
Because
song?
I guess it sounded tropical. It's Africa.
I got so many other songs you could do.
But we're in America. Play a Jimmy Buffett song. You,
You
know,
could do
all
Christopher
his songs
Cross.
are
You just went
Or
keys.
just play
Sailing.
2 songs,
Yeah,
not
you know
just
what I mean?
one
Rotate it.
song over and over.
You were sailing, so you had Christopher Cross. You know, you could do Thunder Island, Jay Ferguson. I
You
love
could
that
just
song.
play a Jimmy Buffett greatest hits album, and that sounds like
Yeah.
music you should be listening to
Oh,
in the
something
Florida
about
Keys.
a flip flop and a
Take
cheeseburger,
it
and you're all
away in
set.
Margaritaville. You know, it's all that stuff.
Good point.
And then my last note was, what was the pill that the giant Asian woman was taking? Do you know what she was? She would pop it in her mouth.
Was she the one like the one that he went to with the snake scale?
No,
and-
she was on
the
screen.
yes, the Times Square screen.
yeah.
Yes. They kept showing her taking that pill. Yes,
Yeah, that's interesting.
and she looked like she was like in like kabuki makeup.
Yeah.
yeah.
Kabuki. That was
Kabuki,
the
right?
The international sign for choking.
Oh man, this movie you could watch it 100 times and it
find
rewards
different
it
things,
rewards
yeah.
you for watching it
Yeah.
again and again and again. It really does.
It
Yeah.
is a treat for the eyes.
It's definitely a
it
movie
is.
I could see myself watching again and again.
One winter day when I don't want to do anything, it's a Blade Runner 2049 marathon plus the 3 mini movies that are on the Blu-ray for 2049.
Watching it at night too. That's
Yeah,
a good time to
yeah.
watch it. And the first shot might be my favorite opening shot ever, when it's just going out over Los Angeles and the explode, like the
Yeah.
not the explosion,
Oh,
like
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
factory, like
The gas refineries,
Yeah.
like, and then go into the pyramid and stuff like that. Yeah. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
Really shot well.
That really should have been. They really missed the whole electric car thing. It's a fossil
It's a
fuel.
It's
still
really a
LA.
swing and
But
a
there
miss.
are
You gotta hope. That's
But
something.
obviously, there had to have been some kind of war at some point that probably like set them back, years in the developmental process because
like the whole time I was watching it, they missed so much and whatever, and I was just like, but man, they painted an insane picture.
Yeah,
They did
It's a
such a,
lot.
good
It's
job.
we watched some good dystopian movies like Mad Max 2, you know, that's
Solo
also
with a shotgun.
but I mean the ones we've watched for this podcast so far.
Yeah. No. Oh yeah.
We'll get to
quite a
Hobo
few.
with the shotgun.
We've
soon.
had quite a few just in the
In the
we're
last
less
couple-
than 10 movies in, aren't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always fun to watch what people think it's going to be like in the future, like especially when the future's so far in the past
And when you have to wear shades.
because it's so bright.
Yeah.
But it's not that bright in Blade Runner.
There was no light. I'm telling
If you wore shades, yeah, you just walk into everything.
like Anthony did last week. Remember
He was sitting there with the sunglasses on. What are you
when
doing?
we were upstairs before we came down. He said, "I'm going to wear my sunglasses." I was like, "Okay."
I guess he felt like he wasn't being looked at if he did that.
I was like, "We're not playing poker. You're not trying to hide your eyes from us."
He was feeling cute.
But do we want to do some scores here and see
That sounds good.
see where we're at? I think
I want Brady to
Unless-
start.
unless
This-
anybody-
All right, well, I don't want this to seem like I'm just like I give every movie like this high of a score, but
No.
this is like one of my favorite
That's awesome.
movies ever. I'd probably give it like a 95.
that's awesome. Yeah, I mean,
Nice.
rewatchability, like you said, you just started watching it a year ago. You've seen it several times.
And I'll
Yeah.
clarify, not 95 out of 100,000. This is 95 out of 100.
Yes, these are out of 100 this evening, Brian.
Oh, okay.
And a
Not
person's
broad.
grade is their personal grade. You could give this the same grade as a Friday the 13th
As
movie,
ET.
and that's fine because
It's
they
your
both
preference. What you
mean
like.
Well,
the
you know,
same
like
to you.
Letterboxd, the app where you can like rate movies or rank
Yes.
movies. I have this.
Your
this
friend
is, like,
gave that to me.
Yeah, this is like in my top 5.
Nice.
Excellent. Brian?
I'll give this a fairly high. I was excited to watch it. I was happy to watch. Brady kept yelling at me because I kept taking notes during it.
No,
but
he was on his phone so much. I was like,
I was writing down notes.
They
But-
were good notes, so we got to
but-
give them.
I would give it a solid an 80. I definitely like this movie.
Okay.
So we got
Nice.
a 90. You said 95, right, Brady?
Mm-hmm.
It's 95. And then, what did you give it, Brian?
I'll give it a 80.
I'm sorry, you're giving it an 80. Am I up or are you up?
I'll go.
All right.
I'll give this Brady went 95. I'll go 92. I mean, this movie is such a good watch. I'd watch it again right
It's already
now.
in there. I already have my score is also 92.
I would watch this right now if you wanted to. Like I would
I'd
do
actually
it
say
again and
put on
let's-
2049.
Well,
instead.
yeah,
That's-
I would
love
say
that
let's watch them
movie.
both back to back now because I want to kind of see where the
Yeah.
ties are between both those movies.
and the three. Now, do you know when you're supposed to watch the mini movies? Are they supposed to go before?
they take place
after?
every 10 years. So this is 2019, 2049. So they're
Oh yeah, the filler.
they're
Filler.
all 10 decades. Everyone's the next decade.
What are these mini movies?
They're on the Blu-ray and like Jared Leto's in 2049 and he's in one of the mini movies too. They're like 10 minutes long or something like that. They're just like probably like things they filmed while they were doing the movie or whatever.
2049 visually might even be. I think it's better.
It's
Really?
That's
Yeah.
Wow.
Denis
It's
Villeneuve,
also
the director,
like, you know-
did Dune. It's the guy who did
Yep.
the new Dune.
Yep.
Prisoners, like all these beautiful looking movies. Arrival.
Prisoners,
see
the one with
Arrival
Hugh
yet.
Jackman?
Yeah.
He did that too?
Mhm.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah,
Arrival.
He did
the-
Sicario. Arrival.
Oh my God,
Oh,
Sicario,
Sicario,
was
that
fucking
was
awesome,
awesome.
man.
His
Really? That
filmography
guy's done
is
all these
insane,
movies?
yeah.
Wow.
He's doing the second
wow,
Dune
wow,
soon.
wow. Yeah, man. This guy is now,
Yeah, that
I
guy's-
don't even know his name, and he's vaulted up to the top of my favorite directors. What's his name?
Denis Villeneuve.
And,
It is weird.
Villeneuve.
Say that in American.
I think it's
Villeneuve?
It's like
Dennis
I think it's
something?
Villeneuve.
It's like
I think-
we would say Dennis Villeneuve probably, but it's like Denny.
Can you Americanize his name so it's easier for me? Like, I don't want to have to let. When you're saying a foreign French name and your
Like-
American accent, and all of a sudden you're like, and Denis Neville, you're like, oh, who
You're
the
like,
fuck are you? Like,
That's
okay.
like when Alex Trebek would read the question
Yes.
on Jeopardy. You're like, he's talking Canadian, and all of a sudden he's like, and I'm like,
And you know,
what
he was backstage
happened here?
practicing that shit for hours before they filmed it. So it's like, he did that just,
Yeah.
because it always rolled right
It's
off
in
the
his-
tongue.
Somebody was in his ear too, like, say it like this, Alex. Like, where did that come from? You
So
don't-
what's your rating?
You don't talk like that. Mine's a 92 as well.
92,
I
92.
I love this movie. I've seen it, I don't know, several times in the past as well. and it's not one of those movies that doesn't lose anything. I think you learn something.
Not
new
at
each
all,
time you
man.
watch.
Like,
I mean,
we've seen some great movies, and I would say Road Warrior, E.T.,
Conan.
Wrath of Khan. I was going to say Wrath of Khan. I was going to say Khan. And Blade Runner all stand up today, like in a movie,
see
in
that,
a
Wrath
world
of
of
Khan?
digital.
No, I've never seen
I
it.
think this
Special
one
effects,
stands up
actually.
the best, though.
This by far the best. Yes, I mean, some of the.
This is your favorite movie
you didn't
that
have
we've
to
done
do, You
so
didn't
far?
have to do much
Yeah.
in Road Warrior. There wasn't much going on there.
Yes,
But
we need to figure out.
There
how
were
to-
some boys
to add
being
some
called to
stuff
the
to
back, though. There were some boys
there
being
were indeed.
called.
But no, this movie was so much fun to watch, and it's not a fun movie to watch. It's a
No,
weird
it's a
thing to
sad
you're kind of
movie.
like
It's
watching it like,
depressing,
God
man.
damn, man, like, ugh, it's grimy and gross and
You just
but so much fun.
like
Wet.
you couldn't feel
Wet.
clean,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because there's not a lot of action. It's like it hits when it's actually happening. I feel like.
Yeah.
It's
Great
a,
movie,
it's a
though.
slow burn. I
Love
like
it.
Yeah.
Love Blade Runner.
Are you going to play a little music, but don't play it really loud? Do it nice this time.
I know I'm ready. I got the proper button.
There it is. So, this has once again been the exciting and new podcast. We can be found on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Spreaker, and wherever you find podcasts, Apple, Google, Spotify, YouTube. We're not a video podcast.
Are we on Pocono TV
Nobody
Channel
wants to see
9?
that. Channel 9.
Pocono
number
TV
9,
Channel 9.
Number 9. I am the Jizu on Instagram, Jizu74 on Twitter. I'm Jason.
I'm Andy.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Brady.
Brady!
Thanks, Brady. I got it in there, yeah.